If you're into Game Boy, there's a good chance you'll like my new Neo Geo Pocket Color series too. Every Thursday I'm reviewing a new Neo Geo game. Just join the PO3 Patreon or become a channel member here on YouTube. One of those forgotten curiosities from the Game Boy Color era here, and it's something that, under different circumstances, might have actually been remembered as a quirky little sports title with some bizarre ideas. Unfortunately for Natsume, it had the misfortune of releasing a few weeks before Mario Golf would in North America anyway, and well, that was that. Nintendo's own golf game was polished, friendly, and mechanically solid, while Hole-in-One Golf just kind of exists. Let's start with what it actually is. Originally, on its Japanese release, this was called Golf de Ohara, based on that TV show we talked about with the Psy-Raid remake Yamachan and Raymond, if you remember that. All references to the series were taken out, obviously, for the North American release, but some of the wackiness did remain. Never mind that though, you care about what it's like as a golf game, I'm guessing, else you wouldn't be watching this. As it happens, it's a fairly, if you'll excuse the pun, below par experience in that regard. You've got 3 full 18-hole courses based in Tokyo, Arizona, and Hawaii, and 3 modes of play: Stroke, Tour, and Link. Stroke is your standard single-player setup where you're just trying to post the lowest score. Tour mode has you competing in a tournament against CPU professionals, and Link mode lets you take on a friend using the Game Link cable. On paper, it's got everything you'd expect from a late 90s portable golf title: battery backup for saving your progress, a rumble cartridge again powered by a AAA battery, and even a few weather effects for good measure. So far, so good. But then you start playing it. I'm not keen on the left-to-right choice of perspective in golf games. This wasn't the only game that did this, and it can be made to work just fine, but I much prefer the vertically scrolling method personally. The main problem is that the scrolling is so awkward and slow that it makes aiming more confusing than it has any right to be. You can only see a tiny portion of the course ahead of you, maybe 100 yards or so, which means you're constantly having to scroll the screen back and forth to figure out where the hole actually is. It's not just unintuitive, it's disorienting due to how slowly it moves. You end up just giving up with it and trying to mentally map out where the fairway bends and where hazards sit, because the game doesn't really show you. The graphics themselves don't help much either. There are no clear distance markers or visual cues to tell you how far objects are from the ball. Trees, bunkers, and water hazards all just blend together in a pixelated mess of greens and browns. Even the hole layout maps are too vague to be useful, just a haphazard mess of chevrons. You get a general sense of the course, but in a game as precise as what golf is, there is not enough precision here to make an informed shot. So you aim vaguely in the right direction, cross your fingers, and just hope for the best. Then comes the swing mechanic, and this is where the frustration really begins. The moment you exit the overhead view, your golfer immediately starts the swing animation, meaning you have to be ready to hit the button for power and accuracy the second you move to that screen. There's no real time to prepare, no countdown, no warning. If you mistime it, and you will, the shot goes completely off course. It's as if Natsume wanted to test your reflexes rather than your golf gaming skill. And because the ball physics are inconsistent at best, even a perfect swing doesn't guarantee anything close to realism. Sometimes the ball floats unnaturally through the air, other times it ricochets across the fairway as if it's made of rubber. The game claims to take into account wind and terrain, but the results never feel predictable or logical. It really doesn't feel like this is a golf game that you will ever become good at, no matter how much you practice. The sound design is another sore spot. I know it's not that important for a golf game, but even so. And yeah, the Game Boy wasn't exactly known for lush ambient soundtracks. It could do them, sure, but it wasn't famous for that. But Hole-in-One Golf somehow manages to make its limitations feel even worse. The single looping tune restarts after every screen change, so you hear the first 5 seconds of it about 100 times per round. The rest of the audio is made up of sharp, repetitive bleeps that could drive even the calmest player to mute the system entirely. And like I say, it's a golf game, so it's a small issue on paper, but these things add up, man. The whole experience feels grating and just unfinished. And yet, for all its problems, there are flashes of something creative buried in here, mainly in the form of the event system. Now, it's a thing that I think probably made more sense on the Japanese version, and was just sort of left in with the North American version to give the game a little bit of variety, but yeah, see what you think. Every so often, after you take a shot, these random creatures will appear and interfere with your ball. They might help you by nudging it closer to the hole, or they might ruin your round entirely by kicking it into a bunker or the rough. These little characters that pop up, they all have their own mischievous little animations, springing out onto the course to just cause chaos randomly. It's a totally bizarre mechanic for a golf game, but it's also one of the few moments where hole-in-one golf feels genuinely original. It's a shame that this faint outline of a decent mid-tier golf title was so buried under all of these odd design choices. 3 full courses is admirable, battery save, rumble support, 2-player functionality, all good features for the time. Standard, but it'd be annoying if they weren't there. But then every step of the way, the game sabotages itself with baffling design decisions and mechanical inconsistencies. It's more work than fun, and when a sports game feels like work, that's usually the end of the story. So, should you play hole-in-one golf today? Probably not. Skip ahead of me in the chronology and take a look at Mario Golf if you've never played that before. It does so much right, adds wonderful RPG elements. It is still the definitive choice on Game Boy Color, with its tight controls, clear visuals, satisfying physics, and none of the unnecessary frustration. I'll catch up to you in a couple of months.